approval slide, know that you guys want to do it.
A motion to hear.
Is there a second? Okay. Oh,
I'll second.
a second? All right. All in favor, say aye. All right, keep going. Next up is Steve. Nope. No, this person is right there.
Sorry, I thought that was scribbled.
It's scribbled out.
Oh, it's scribbled out?
I scribbled mine out.
Oh, I just thought it was Lisa Peterson.
Do you want the microphone there,
My name is Lisa Peterson, and I am a resident of Salix. I am speaking tonight not just for myself, but for many citizens who share these concerns. We are formally requesting that the City Council enact an emergency one-year moratorium on the acceptance, processing, or approval of rezoning applications, site development plans, land use authorizations, building permits, or special use permits for the construction, establishment, or expansion of large-scale data centers, industrial-scale cryptocurrency mining and digital asset operations, high-capacity battery energy storage solutions, solar farms, or wind turbines and associated high-voltage electrical substations or transmission lines. This is a responsible, proactive step to ensure that any development in Salix is sustainable and well vetted. We are deeply concerned about any swift decisions that would be made involving industrial expansion and its impact on our community's infrastructure. There are significant questions regarding the long-term impact on our community. Before we move forward, we need to ensure our city has the necessary information to protect our residents. A moratorium is necessary to allow the city to, number one, conduct a thorough impact study, evaluate the long-term strain and costs on local water, electrical, water, road, and infrastructure. Can our current electrical grid and water infrastructure support these facilities without negatively impacting residential rates or reliability? Two, update zoning ordinances. Ensure that our current land use regulations are robust enough to address the unique needs and risks associated with the high-tech, high-energy industrial facilities. Include the conditional use permits in our zoning. Three, public welfare and safety. The long-term impacts of air quality, noise, traffic, light pollution, and landscape alteration on the adjacent property owners and on our town. Four, preserve community character. Protect the agricultural and residential integrity of our area while a comprehensive, sustainable development plan is established. Do these industrial scale projects align with the long-term vision for our rural and residential character, especially in regard to the Salix 2035 comprehensive plan? We request that the City Council adopt a moratorium to pause these specific developments for a defined, limited period of 12 months so the city can complete a formal planning study, update our zoning ordinances to reflect modern industrial challenges, and update our development standards. I would like to submit to the council 70 signatures of Salix residents requesting the moratorium. We ask that you please hold a special council meeting to implement the moratorium as soon as possible. Thank you for your time and service to our community.
Good evening, Adam Jablonski with Mid-American Update, or Mid-American Energy, just here to provide a brief update to add on to some of our presentation and questions and answers that we gave last time. It'll be short because we haven't made a lot of progress. It's basically the same status as it was a month ago. Just want to make sure the city and the community understood that. We are making progress towards selecting a customer, but we have not selected one yet. It is a long process. We have to ensure, our customers are not harmed in this process, put agreements in place to do that. And we have to make sure we take the feedback from the Salix community seriously when we select and introduce a customer to the community. So just want to be clear today, there is no customer, there's no development plan, there's no application for the city and the community to review. At this time, we will continue to provide updates. We are still continuing to assess the site ourselves. So if you see people out on site, looking at the site, investigating it, it's just part of our review process. Last time I said we're very early in the process. That has not changed. We're still very early in that process as we continue to investigate the site for our facilities, not the customer's facilities. So appreciate the time and the opportunity to provide an update, and we look forward to providing future updates. Thank you.
Steve Corey.
Steve Corey, 1757, 290th Street, Salix. I live just south of town. I've been here in the community for 32 years. I just want to once again emphasize, the idea and the prospect of a moratorium. We've got 5 counties now in the state of Iowa, 5 counties in the state of Nebraska. The states of South Dakota, Vermont, and Virginia now have all passed moratoriums on data centers. And all moratorium really is a pause button. It gives the states, the counties, the cities that are impacted, the communities, an opportunity to really do the due diligence that's necessary to make sure that if a data center were to be built, that it's the right thing for the community, for the environment, that's going to provide all of the positives that we've heard from a lot of our craftsmen or tradesmen today that they're saying. Obviously, the jobs are an important part of it. But the other important part is it's going to give the city council of Salix and the government of Salix and the people of the community the ability to potentially really put together a package that if a client comes to Mid-American Energy that would really benefit the community, that we can put that in place, whether it's monetary, whether it's taxes, those types of things. We need to understand what the federal government and state government also are offering to these data centers that might actually undermine the benefits that we could see from it. So it's a pause button. A moratorium is not saying no to a data center. It's saying we want to look more closely at it and we want to vet it properly. And we have people here in this community that have the ability and the intelligence to do that. So I really appreciate that consideration. And I appreciate what you guys are doing. Mayor, what you did today was very helpful. I also appreciate the utility company coming in and keeping us all up to date, because communication is extremely important for the people in this community to feel good about what's going on right now with this. Thank
We have 3 left. Greg Yoakum.
Greg Yoakum, 1629 270th Street. Right off the bat, I'm not moving. I plan on staying right where I'm at. This has been a long process. I have looked deep into this. A lot. I'm not moving. I'm staying here. I grew up here. Like Chad Small said, I played Little League baseball here. I went to Catholic grade school here. In this whole process, I believe that this was, and still is, can be, a good opportunity for the city of Salix, for the fire department, for the Westwood School District, and the surrounding communities. Us as landlords asked for the annexation because that's the only way that the city of Salix would benefit from this directly. This is a chance for the city of Salix and the city council to be leaders and fully investigate and research the pros and cons of whatever business is chosen for this site. The Salix Council has the ability, with the zoning regulations and the ordinances, to protect the environment and our community. Salix can be the example from all other small towns looking for ways to enhance and grow their community and tax base. I have full confidence and respect in the Salix City Council to make those decisions for our town.
All right, next is Janet Yannick.
Janet Yannick, 1719 260th Street. For those of you who don't know, this data center will be in my front yard. Let me start by saying no data center is worth 1 acre of unique Iowa farmland. 72% of Americans are against data centers. And even with Google forcing its use, 19% of Americans use AI regularly. That is not an overwhelming majority of users. Does anyone of the many union people speaking here tonight live across the street from a data center? I will. It's not my choice. I am not a Salix resident. I don't get to vote. I didn't get a notification even the annexation was happening. I have many, many questions, one of which is expenses for attorneys for the city. There has been huge expenses. Were those budgeted for? Do we now have a new law firm? I received an email in response to a legal question from a law firm, Ehlers and Clooney, out of Des Moines, with connections to Mid-American Energy. Is Christine Stone, their attorney, now retained by the city? Who's responsible for that payment? A point to ponder for everyone, Mid-American Energy announced a 5% rate hike yesterday. How much of that is due to the data centers they already serve? And how much more is coming? I know no answers will be forthcoming on these questions. They are valid and deserve consideration. On tonight's agenda, there's discussion and direction regarding a possible moratorium on the planned project of data center. If you've been listening and paying attention at this meeting and prior meetings, you've heard from both sides of the issue. Numerous questions have been raised: water use, power availability, property values, air and water pollution, temporary jobs, fire protection, road use, reclamation, and many, many more, with zero answers. A moratorium is a useful tool when there are questions and no definitive answers. If this data center is a positive today, it will be the same in a year. Moratoriums or outright bans on data centers are in place in much of the United States. Here are a few in our surrounding states. South Dakota, statewide, 1 year. Nebraska counties, Gage, Garfield, Butler, Fox Butte, Custer, Dundee, Furnace, Hayes, Harlan, Johnson, Kearney, Odo, Seward, Saline. Iowa counties, Lynn, Madison, Johnson, Butte, Clark, Plymouth, Sioux, and Woodbury. There are more moratoriums or bans under consideration throughout the entire country. All of these county and state governments cannot be wrong. Thank you.
Purcell? All right, this is the last speaker.
Good evening, Council, and good evening to everybody that's here. Thank you all for showing up, whether you support the data center or you don't. They're here to listen. So thank you all for being here. Number one, almost a third of your residents signed a petition saying, pause, stop, review this. Almost a third. Earlier you said how many residents you had here, like, what, about 300? 77 of them said, let's pause, let's talk about this. You gotta listen to your voters. Someone over here said, be a leader and fully investigate. Do that. Take that year and do what they're saying. And in my community, I'm on our tribal council, and you know what? We go back and forth and we fight about things and we have to come to a consensus. And it really bothers me that everybody voted yes for this. You guys know how bad these are. Number two, pull out your phone and look up Lake Tahoe Data Center. Pull it up and look. You guys know what that is? Okay, for those of you that don't, in Lake Tahoe, rich, fancy Lake Tahoe, they're losing their energy provider because their energy provider is diverting all their power to the data center. Do you want that to happen here? Do you fine, live in the dark. But hey, we got the internet somewhere. Might not just be Salix. Number three thing I want to say, I've heard multiple people get up here and say, what a great thing for the community of Salix. You're going to get a hotel, you're going to get a restaurant, you're going to get a bar, you're going to get a new whatever. You know what? That's not a hotel, it's called a man camp. Yes. Do you guys have daughters? Anybody here have a daughter? I have daughters. There's a thing called a man camp. That's what happens when temporary workers come into town. Your little girls get stolen, they get taken, they don't come back.
Sit down.
That's what happens. So if you want that in your community, vote for this. And then number four thing I want to tell you, you don't have to be a sellout to the man to grow your community. Get yourself a great grant writer and grow your community in other ways. Sit down and have some really great discussions. You guys can do this.
Ma'am, I gotta stop you for a second. Can the audience please sit down?
Please do not disrupt the meeting.
You guys can do this. And you can do this in a good way. Look at all of us here. We're willing to sit down and help you. I work for a company that we do stuff like this all the time. There's people sitting in here that man over there, he said what happened to him in Stanton, Nebraska. What happened to his animals. Anybody here have farm animals? Your animals are going to go crazy. He's one of you. He's a farmer. He knows. And if you're not listening to him, that means you're not listening to your own people, because he's one of you. I might not be, because I'm from the res. But you know what? I drink that water. That is there for all of us. Just today, we worked with an organization called the Braveheart Society, because there were things we didn't know about what data centers would do to the water. So I'm going to invite all of you to Winnebago, Nebraska, that first week in August. Braveheart's going to come and they're going to do a presentation for us. The number of what their geologist said, he said, if you want to kill a river, get a data center. So if the city of Salix wants to be responsible for the death of the Missouri River, get your data center. That is not a legacy any of you want. And I thank you, Mr. Monk, for making the motion to hear the rest of us. I thank you, Ms. Burkhart, for seconding that motion. It's hard to sit where you guys are sitting. It really is. But do the right thing for your people. Do the right thing for your children. Do the right thing for your grandchildren. You might only have 300 kids here, but look at that lady over there. She moved here because this is a clean, kind community. She wants to be here. She is a young lady. Wants to start her family here. Would she be here if there's a data center? She flat out said no. You guys are better than this. We, as a whole community, we're better than this. We can do this together. We don't need that. You know, do you really need another picture of yourself riding on a horse? No, just take one with your Polaroid. You don't have to do it with AI. You look fine, I promise. So, thank you all.
Number 6, updates, Public Works. Ed?
Yes, sir.
There you are. Just a couple things. We're down to our last 5 or 6 meters that need to be installed.
Yeah.
And some of them have to have new curb stops, and we have people working on replacing the curb stops, correct?
Good.
And then we have to have a plumber install for the Rand property, for Catholic Church, and for another property, correct?
Good.
So there's those 5.
Yeah.
Is that inaccurate? Okay. And then you think that it's fine to discontinue use of Nick Lars and Jason, I can't remember his last name. Yeah. Before apparently I have to send an email or something in writing to that company for them to stop, for providing additional service for $400 a month. I just want to make sure with the council that you're okay with that before I do that. Ed thinks that he's ready to go, but I want to make sure the council's on it.
And we can always call it again
On an as-needed basis, correct? Correct.
I'm okay with it, but
Emily, you okay with that? What did you do over there?
Yeah.
Cool.
so do a 30-day notice.
30-day notice. All right, any updates from the clerk? Okay. Any updates from the council? Dad, you're here, aren't you?
The only thing I have is I'll be working with Ed,
Yeah, because we can get water in it somehow.
yeah, and I think,
And I saw that you got us some drainage district stuff, like the people that are actually gonna, vet out.
so the storm sewer project, storm sewer cleaning project, contractors, Midlands Contracting, they have indicated they will be here late July, first part of August to clean out all the storm sewers.
Okay. Late July.
And they're doing Maple, right? Maple.
All-
All the storm sewers south of the top.
All of them, south of Palmer. Anything that's within the drainage district, Salix Drainage District, they're gonna jet out those pipes. Drainage, the stormwater pipes. We're not doing the cleaning out the ditches, right now, we're waiting on that, see if we can get a grant. All right, resolution, is that it, Chad?
Yep, that's
Okay.
all.
Resolutions, ordinances, and proclamation. The 2026-14, resolution approving allers. So what this is the city currently will have, if you approve this, we'll have 3 lawyers. We have 2 law firms, rather. We have Ryan Buskey for our drainage district stuff. We have John Hines out of Prairie Huff, who will handle general city stuff, like annexation or vote petitions, stuff like that, loose dogs. And then we'll have Allers out of Des Moines that will handle anything related to data centers, whether it's moratoriums, economic agreements, zoning changes. They specialize in this, and they came highly recommended from John Hines. So we're not replacing John, we're adding to John, so we keep you focused on our usual stuff, and Allers will be handling data center related things.
So who's paying for this guy?
The city pays for all 3 of them.
How come we don't, has anyone heard of gap funding? Is when you ask the developer to chip in on the cost?
That, we can get to that in, what is that? 10-2, but I'm gonna let Christine talk on that. This is just approving Allers to represent the city regarding the very narrow scope of things related to data center moratoriums, economic agreements, zoning law changes, that area of the law. So, is there a motion?
I motion.
Okay, is there a second? All right, roll call vote. It's gonna go from my left to the right. Gene?
Why should we pay for it if the developers are bringing this to us?
And for a little more background, I don't want to speak for Christine if she's still on the phone, but Allers has represented cities in these exact situations, so they're going to have the knowledge of what questions do you need to ask.
Do we know if they're pro-data or anti-data?
I think,
Or are they neutral?
I think they are attorneys who work for the city.
They're neutral.
It seems to me that gap funding is where we should be looking.
And again, we'll get to that in 10-2. This
Okay,
is
I'm
just-
voting no right now.
Okay, Brenda?
Yes.
Yes. Emily? Yes.
Yes.
And 3-1. All right, approved. Resolution 2026-15, resolution for special election. John, do you want to give a quick overview?
Yes, so tonight we have an appointment of a council member on the agenda, but we did receive a petition for a special election. So the council needs to pass a resolution to call that special election. The date will be set by the county. We don't have a firm date on it, but it's going to happen soon. The November general election is too far away, so that information will come out, and then candidates will have the ability to submit their materials to run for that spot. So this is the resolution to call that special election.
And do they need to say a specific date before a specific time?
No, the county auditor is going to fill that in.
County auditor can fill that in, so it's not up to the council what date it's gonna be?
It's not up to the council to set the date, so your resolution calls the election, and then the county election commissioner will fill in those details.
Okay. So with that background, is there a motion? Go ahead.
We have a deadline for somebody to submit, correct? How many people
For the appointment.
Nobody else is showing interest.
You have to put in something in writing.
So we have to have a special election, or can we appoint the person?
Do both. You will appoint the person, you will appoint someone tonight, that person will serve temporarily until the election is over. But you have to do the election because of the petition.
Okay.
Can they withdraw the petition?
I don't believe so, no.
So now we have to have an election no matter what.
Correct.
Perfect.
And will there be more people on, that can be on the?
Yes, they'll have 25 days before the election to qualify and submit the paperwork. So that's why we can't tell anyone what those deadlines are yet, because we don't know what the election date is going to be.
I would imagine that the requirements would be no different than any other election in Salix. You have to be a Salix resident over the age of 18.
It's all the same election requirements in a regular election.
Any more questions for the lawyer on this?
So I'll motion to approve the resolution.
Okay, is there a second? Okay, roll call vote. Let's start over there, Dean.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yes, Brenda? Emily? Denise? Okay, 4-0, passes. Consent agenda. All items appearing on the consent agenda are considered routine by the city council and shall be acted in one motion. If discussion is desired, that item shall be removed and discussed separately. Is there a motion on the consent agenda?
A motion to approve.
Okay. And 1 second, all in favor?
All right.
All right. Old business, Aspen Development, wood framing beginning on lots 1 and 2 this week, working on permit number 2 for lots 3 and 4. They haven't actually heard the permit? 3 and 4? No? That's just informational? Oh. There's nothing for the city to do, just be aware of that they're gonna, working on permit number 2. There's nothing for them to vote on or hold. Okay. New business, vote on new council member appointment. So the deadline was today at noon to put something in writing and hand it into City Hall saying that you'd like to be considered to be appointed to be the interim council member to fill Nick Black's term. To my knowledge, only one person actually did that and put it in the name in writing. Tim Skidmore, are you here? Hi, Tim. Do you want to take the oath of office and take your seat now, or do you not want to do that?
I can do it.
All right, come on up. I guess you can like make your appeal to the council, but there's only you, so you're probably going to win. Got it. Fine.
I, Tim Skidmore, do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States, the Constitution of the State of Iowa, and that I will faithfully and impartially, to the best of my ability, discharge all duties of the office of the Salix City Council in Salix as now or hereafter required by law.
Ed, would you mind just sitting over to the side since your part is done, and then Tim, you sit over there. Thank you, Ed. I'm staying out of that. Welcome back to the council, Tim. All right. 10.2, discussion and direction regarding possible moratorium related to... Nope, they didn't. I'm sorry. I apologize. Vote on new council member, roll call vote, just to make it official. We don't want to miss anything. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Thank you. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, all in favor to appoint Tim Skidmore as the interim?
Emily, you got there?
She's in the back.
Yes.
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 Yes, there's 3, so it doesn't matter what Emily votes, it passes. Well, we can ask her when she gets back. All right. 10-2, discussion and direction regarding possible moratorium relating to data center projects. Before the council starts discussing, we have on speakerphone our lawyer from Allers Group, Christine Stone. She is on speaker here, so I don't know if everyone in the back can hear her, but at least the council can hear her. Christine, are you still there?
I am, yes. Good evening.
Thank you for holding on so long. Can you just give everyone an overview of what a moratorium is and what it is not, and anything else you'd like to share at this point, and then the council may ask you questions.
Sure. So first of all, as the mayor said, my name is Christine Stone. I'm a shareholder at the Allers and Cooney firm in Des Moines. Our firm represents public entities all across the state. My partner, Nathan Overberg, specializes in economic development agreements, and I practice general municipal law. We are neither pro nor con data center. We take direction from our clients and assist them with achieving the outcomes that they want within the confines of Iowa law. So we are here to support the city council however it chooses to move forward. So that is sort of just some background. I will start out by saying, Salix does have an existing zoning code. Your code specifically states that anything that is not listed as a permitted use within the zoning ordinance is a prohibited use and would not be permitted unless and until the zoning ordinance was changed. Data centers are not identified as a permitted or conditional use under the current zoning ordinance. So if the council was interested in moving forward with a data center project within the city, that would require a change in the zoning ordinance. So that's just some background as well. Turning to moratoriums specifically, a moratorium is a land use tool. It is a legislative action of the city council. It is, as one of the commenters described, sort of an opportunity to pause, to put the public on notice that you are pausing, so that you can, study a particular issue, put regulations in place, evaluate existing regulations or potential new regulations, to basically get your ducks in a row before you would consider a particular type of project or land use, that type of thing. So that is what a moratorium is for, is basically to, state publicly that the city council is putting a pause on something. We normally recommend that you identify a specific duration, a reasonable period of time, and then, that gives you the opportunity to put regulations in place, study an issue, whatever the case may be. And with that, I'm happy to answer any questions that anybody has.
All right, council members, this is your opportunity to talk to our legal representative.
So I had a question on the gap funding. If we do a moratorium, do we still have the opportunity to ask for gap funding from the developers?
So I assume that what you're referring to is to have the developer pay some of the city's costs of administering a project or reviewing a project? Is that what
Absolutely.
you're referring to?
Yes.
Yeah, so that could either be included in a zoning type of ordinance, or it could be included in a negotiated development agreement with the developer of the project. So some communities have very robust zoning regulations that are very strict and comprehensive. Other communities, their zoning regulations may be a little bit more limited, but then they negotiate a formal development agreement with the developer where, project costs are addressed, any incentives to the developer are addressed. So, there's sort of two avenues for approaching that, but yes, that could be addressed in a zoning ordinance or a development agreement.
Thanks.
Hi, this is Denise Burkhart. So just to clarify that a little bit, if we were in a moratorium, the developer would not be held to that development agreement, correct? During that time?
Well, it depends on what the moratorium says. So a moratorium could just say, we will not consider any formal data center proposals until the city either has a new zoning ordinance in place or a development agreement template or, whatever it is that you want to pursue in the interim.
So we could still request of the developers to proceed with things during a moratorium period and request them to pay for it. I ask because I'm told that if you're in a moratorium and you want, say, water testing done, it is the city's responsibility to pay for that during the moratorium time.
So, again, it somewhat depends on what the moratorium specifically says, but if the city places a moratorium on any data center development, while it studies its zoning regulations, basically that puts everything on hold. You are under no obligation to negotiate with the developer, you're under no obligation to do a water study. The purpose of the moratorium is to give the city time to review its regulations and get those in place. So you would have no obligation to assist a developer with a data center project.
Emily? Denise? So,
I don't quite understand. I understand the purpose of a moratorium, and I understand the reasoning behind it. But today, there's no end user identified. is no timeline for us to have to change an ordinance or update it. There's no timeline to make a decision or a proposal to an end user that doesn't exist yet. So my question is kind of, I see it as a little early for that to be in place. We don't have a designated industrial area to study. Nobody is telling us, you have to have this done in a year. So that's just kind of my concern, is if our community wants things like a water study done during a moratorium, that's on our dime.
It sounds like to me.
Is that an accurate statement, Christine Stone? Like, if a moratorium goes in place, then any studies, whether it be a water study or electricity study or noise study, anything like that, the city of Salix would have to pay for, and the city of Salix does not have the funds to do that. Whereas if a moratorium was not in place, then we could negotiate with the end user, and the end user could potentially pay for that.
Yeah, so if the moratorium were in place, I would say you're certainly not going to be able to require a developer to pay for it. It would be up to the city whether it wanted to or not. So, you know, if you want to move forward with a study and conduct it yourselves, you certainly could. But there would be nothing, you know, on the books to force a developer to complete that kind of study and pay for it.
But why would we? Why would we do studies if we don't have a customer yet? Why would we spend any of our money?
That's what Denise was alluding to, it's premature.
I say we put a pause on it. We do a motion for a moratorium. We put a pause on it, and then if they want to come to us and say, hey, we want to move forward, we go after gap funding and they pay for all the studies. And we get our research and ducks in a row. That's all they're asking. The people of our town, was it 70-some people signed a petition? If we're up here on the board and our job is to represent the town, what are we doing?
Our job is to represent the town, but we have to do what's best for the town, Jeannie. I'm not saying that maybe 9 months from now, once we have some answers, or 12 months from now, once we have some answers, if we are uncomfortable at that point, I would think that a moratorium discussion, you know, would be a good idea. But right now, again, there's no end user, nobody, there's nothing to pause.
I think it just takes the heat off us. It takes the heat off the whole situation if we just put it on pause.
But it takes a lot of decisions out of our hands.
No, it doesn't.
This is not, nope, this is not where the public can yell out stuff. Please do not disrupt the council meeting. Please do not do that. This is a council discussion.
I'm gonna just say I'm motioning for a moratorium. And if I don't have a second, at least I stated my thing, so. What's that?
I'm not completely against the data center, but I think we do need to have our ducks in a row.
Yeah.
I don't think we're gonna have anybody within a year looking to build ground.
Yeah, for sure.
So I would second that motion.
Good deal, thanks, Tim.
Let's do a roll call vote, just to be on the safe side. I don't want there to be any question of how loud someone's voice was or how quiet. I'm just gonna do what I always do, which is go left to right. Dean?
Yes.
Brenda?
I don't know what to say. I guess yes.
No?
No.
No?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, so now you need to tell us how long of a moratorium you want and what it applies to. And perhaps Christine Stone, you could provide some context on what kind of moratoriums they would have.
Is that 3-2?
Yes.
3-2 affirmative?
Yes.
Yeah, so I would suggest that you want to include a date or a timeline in the moratorium. It could say the moratorium shall be in place for a year or until, a zoning regulation has been adopted, whichever is sooner. You could do that type of a moratorium, or it could just be a hard year or 6 months, whatever you think is a reasonable period of time. And then in terms of the moratorium, what do you want to basically put on pause? Are you pausing consideration and negotiation of any data center proposals? Are you just putting a moratorium on any zoning related changes to data centers? And we can always prepare, if you can give us some direction, we can prepare a proposed moratorium language that obviously you could revise at your next meeting, but having some parameters on the front end would be helpful.
So, for 3 people that were pro moratorium, please provide your parameters.
That would be for a hard year, just so we can better understand what we're doing.
I would think that's what the counties and everyone around us are doing, it's a hard year, and everyone else is gonna research it too, we steal their research. We'll get it, they're gonna share it as they get it, and then we can go from there, go a year.
What other information, Christine Stone, do you need?
I mean, if the desire is to be consistent with the surrounding counties, we can draft it that way, and then obviously, if there are tweaks to be made, the council can let us know that at the next meeting.
Right, because right now, it's now voting for the moratorium. Just to let everyone up here and in the audience knows, this is not a vote for a moratorium. This is a vote for the county attorney to prepare the moratorium information, and then at the next council meeting in August will be the actual vote for the moratorium. Does everyone understand that?
I don't, I thought we just voted 3-2 for the moratorium.
That was your motion.
They voted for developing the moratorium. Christine, can you elaborate? Because
Yeah, I mean, the moratorium needs to be specific, and so there would need to be a vote on the specific language of the moratorium, which is normally either included in a resolution or ordinance, depending upon what is being put on pause. So, yes, my suggestion is we get the feedback tonight, and then the actual language is presented at the next council meeting for a formal vote.
so it'll be voted on, it'll be on the agenda of the August council meeting with all the information on there documented, and the lawyer will help Ashley prepare it, and it'll be voted on then. All right, so 3, I think we're good there. 3, allow legal emails to be viewed by open law records request. John, can you give some color on this?
Yes, so the city has received a public records request that requests various communications. I think everyone on council knows that. Some of the communications that were requested were mine. So again, I'm the city's attorney. So just like any attorney and client, we have attorney-client privilege. And so the Iowa Public Information Board, the Iowa Attorney General, and the Iowa Supreme Court have all concluded that attorney-client privilege communications do not have to be turned over for a records request. But you are the council, you are the governing body of the city, you have the ability to waive that privilege so that we can provide those records. So we wanted to bring it to you to let you know, because we're being thorough on responding to the entire request. I'm not recommending that you waive privilege, and Christine might want to weigh in on that because this is a project that's still ongoing. And in 7.5 years of doing municipal work, I've never had a city waive privilege before. So I'm not recommending it, but you do have that ability.
Christine, do you have any comment on that?
Yep, I'll just weigh in. I echo what John said. I've been practicing municipal law for a long time, and I generally do not recommend that attorney-client privilege be waived. And my advice is consistent with his.
Okay. So I'm just gonna throw out there, is there a motion to allow it or at all? No? There's no motion, fails. All right. Tornado recovery efforts. So we have quite a bit of things that we need to fix that were impacted by the tornado on May 17th. That belongs to the city. We have 2 bids for the fence repairs, so a great big tree